So today, this is Tiffany, by the way, at the Broke Horseman, sorry. Today we have whiskey again, and I wanted to share 2 simple and cheap things that you can use from your kitchen to use on your horses, okay? And one, I know we pretty much all have this. This is mayonnaise. Now this is the olive oil, and this is the Great Value brand. It doesn't matter what brand. Mayonnaise is an excellent conditioner. It's a great leave-in conditioner for people and horses. So you could, as you can see, he actually needs it. I'm not going to do it today because I have a few other things to do after this. But you just put this, and again, he thinks it's food. You just put this in their mane. You slather it on a whole jar, basically, would go in because he has a lot of mane and tail. You would slather this on, and I would leave it in for a couple hours and then just wash it out. And you don't even have to use a soap to wash it out with if you don't want to. Not only does this condition, this is excellent if you've ever dealt with mites. If you've ever dealt with mites on horses, you know how frustrating it can be, and it's very difficult to eradicate them. A couple of years ago, we had a shortage of hay here in Georgia, and I'm going to put this down because he's going to keep bothering me. And we had to basically get what we could get. So when our supply was exhausted, we had to find whatever was available. And we were using a source that we had never used before, and as such, we didn't realize that it was infested with mites until after we started feeding it. Now, he lost a good deal of his mane, and my other horse, Indy, who had just come to us, so we were already dealing with a lot of behavioral problems with him, trying to get him used to people and safe to handle, and his entire backside went bald, and he lost a good deal of his tail. Whiskey lost some of his tail, but he was mainly affected on his mane, and I exhausted all sorts of different remedies that I looked up online, different pesticides and medications, and I happened to read something about lice with people and using mayonnaise, so I decided I would try mayonnaise. And I basically took an entire jar of mayonnaise per horse, and I slathered the entire horse in mayonnaise. It was very messy. Kind of fun though. When I left it on for a couple hours, I went ahead and washed it off. A couple days later, I went and got more because the life cycle of a mite is only a couple days. And I did it again. And within, I would say, 2 weeks, their hair started growing back. And I had won the battle with the mites. At that point, we didn't have a problem with that anymore. You know, that hay it was only a small load that we had, so we had already finished it, and we haven't had a problem since. But it is a very convenient, easy way to rid your horse of mites. I know some of the horses that have feathery fetlocks and stuff, the Clydesdales and Shires and Gypsy Vanners, those horses get mites in their legs. I would try that. It's a very inexpensive way to deal with it, and the worst that you're going to deal with is a mess. It was very effective for me. I didn't have to go into an expensive vet bill, and now that's one more thing that I know I can do if I ever have that problem again. Of course, we generally have a better hay supply. But that's a really nice thing you can do with mayonnaise. I want to move on to the one more thing I want to talk about that most of us now have in our kitchen, and again, he thinks it's food. Well, he does eat this every day. So this is coconut oil. I know that 10 years ago, most of us did not have this in our kitchen, but pretty much all of us do now. Now this one's almost empty. I'm actually going to have to go get more tomorrow. But I use this in my feed, and I also use it as a conditioner for their mane and tail, and it's also great for rain rot. If you ever have, my horses stay out 24/7, so on occasion in the humid, hot and wet summers, we'll get bouts of a lot of rain, and for some reason they don't like to get under their shelter, and so they'll get rain rot. And when they do, I just put some of this on, and about a week of putting this on it, and the rain rot goes away because it smothers it. So with feeding, I feed a tablespoon a day per horse right in their feed. I soak their feed because they're both easy keepers, and it makes them feel like they're getting more to eat. So I just soak their feed. It's not necessary, but if you're going to add this, it's solid at room temperature, so soaking is better. It would make it more palatable for them. Otherwise, they could just spit out the big chunk that's in their feed. So even if you don't soak the whole thing, you can soak a little bit and put the coconut oil in. This helps with the shiny coat. It also helps with weight gain. Even a tablespoon a day makes a difference in weight gain for your horse. So this is excellent. It's cheap, and I feed it to all my horses. Have been doing this for about 5 or 6 years now, and I like the results. It's nice to have around, and it's also a great lotion for us. If we're out in the barn, and our hands are really dry, you can just put some on your hands. So coconut oil is definitely great to have around.